reputation that the district has among the bond community and the investor community. Clearly, more investors are participating and were willing to buy at tighter spreads than previously. That's my point here. Okay. In our last 15 minutes, this will work out perfectly. I want to go measure by measure and show you what's been done in the past. And I think the 98 is probably the least important one, given where we are with the authorization, but that's okay. You can see here 4 issues dating back to 98. These are the Measure E's. We provide the series name, the amount that was issued here. These were $10 million each issue. The type of bonds used, CIB, is current interest bond. We talked about that. The method of sale. Here the district was using that competitive method I was talking about. The overall interest rate, and then that repayment ratio. We thought would be kind of interesting also. Even though, yeah.
Just,
yeah.
You're going to point out about whether they're tax exempt or not.
Yes, yes. Assume that they're tax exempt unless the slide says otherwise. Okay. Yeah, for the most part, the district has used the traditional tax exempt bond. It's been the most common feature. So remember, there was no AB 182 and requirement on repayment ratio, but we're providing these for less, just for informational purposes. Okay, so moving on and looking at what's left on Measure E, you can see all the bonds have been issued up here. 40 million authorized, 40 million issued. There's 23 million left. They're going to get paid off over time. And so the line is the revenues that would be generated by the AV target, the max rate on that issue. I can't remember, John, what was the rate on the 90 days? I have it in here. $26, I think. Oh, thank you. Yeah, tax rate. So at $26 at 4% AV growth, that's what the slanted line represents. And then the bars are the cumulative debt service of all the outstanding bonds. And so this is why I'm saying that we would expect the tax rate, if AV grows, to continue to fall with time on this one. So this program is winding down. Okay. Moving on to the 2000 Measure M's. There were 3 series of bonds. This also was a measure that has been fully issued. There's 150 million authorization, 150 million has been issued in 3 issues. All current interest bonds, all tax exempt, competitive method of sale. And just take a look at these interest rates, 5, 480, 450. You'll see these rates coming down a little bit in the later years now just because of that interest rate cycle. But repayment ratios in the 2% or 2 times over less. Okay. So now looking ahead at the tax rates for this measure. Again, we got the revenue line. This is at $55.60 per 100,000 of AV. That's the tax rate target. This is a 4% growth assumption. The debt service gets right up to the line for the next 3 years. That's just the way the debt's been structured. And then it drops considerably. So that's what I was saying earlier about tax rates likely to fall on this measure once 2018 rolls around. So this is, again, no new authorization. No remaining bonds to be issued here. So tax rates will fall. 2002 Measure D. Okay, this is where the mix of bonds gets a little more interesting. We have 4 series issued. Numbers probably should have been rounded here, but that's all right. Let's see, the Measure D's. We have a little bit of capacity. It was a $300 million authorization. There's $246 million outstanding. But a couple of things to note. We did current interest bonds in 2002, current interest bonds in 2003, a mix of current interest bonds and capital appreciation bonds in 2004, and then capital appreciation bonds in 2005. You can still see, however, even with the cabs, that these were not highly leveraged issues. More than the 1.9 repayment ratio, but certainly well under the 4-to-1 that would be a requirement today in AB 182 if these were subject to those requirements. All these bonds were issued with a competitive method of sale, so this was obviously the district's preferred approach for a period of time. And then you see the effective interest rates, hovering around, 480 to 520 basically. Yeah, question?
Actually, I'm jumping ahead
Okay.
a slide,
You
and I have
you looked, okay, let's
well,
go.
actually,
Or not.
no, go back. So those bond series started in '02 and ended in, the last issuance was '05.
Correct.
So would I be correct in assuming that in 2015, October 2015, the district would look at refunding or refinancing this one, especially because then I'm going to the next slide, because it looks like the debt service is higher than the 4% growth?
It's forecasted to be higher.
Okay,
At 4% growth, it will be, yes, if there is only 4% growth on this measure, the debt service will exceed the tax rate target.
okay, so
Yes.
if it were if it were refinanced, then we could be below that line?
Yes, though, can I just answer this one first? The refinancing we did included bonds from the 2002s. Okay,
Is that
so,
really series?
we look at them all, really. Would that last series have been refundable?
2005 cabs, the cabs.
Yeah, the cabs are generally non-callable, so I don't think we could refinance
That was
those.
gonna be my question.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the cabs are non-callable. You could borrow money and stick it in an escrow, and they would get paid at their maturity. That's called defeasing them, but you're not gonna get any interest cost savings by doing that necessarily. So it was probably the early ones. So good question. So let's go to that slide, because I think you honed in on an important issue. So, and just one other thing. I mean, so you got 246 million outstanding, 300 million authorization. So conceptually, there's more bonds to be issued under this measure, okay? But look at the picture, and you can see why there's going to be many years before additional remaining amount of the authorization can be accessed because of that tax rate situation. Now, if we get multiple years of high AV growth, it may be that the debt service drops below the line. If it drops significantly below the line, we could issue additional bonds. Or it just may be that we have to wait many, many years before.
David,
Yeah.
there's no more authorization in the Measure D.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The currently outstanding goes down just because we paid a great deal off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the next one
It's
is,
the 05s. I'm confused. Thank you, Dr. Hart. Yeah, no, there's no more authorization, so forget that last comment. Yeah. It's J. So let's go look at J for a minute. J, there were four series issued under J, and this is the one that has about 77 million of authorization still to be issued. But it also is what I call a constrained measure, so that 77 million won't be accessed for a healthy period of time. And this addresses your question about the other types of bonds here. We did $52 million of Build America bonds, the Series C bonds. Those were those issued as a taxable bond, and then the district receives a subsidy from the Treasury to offset 35% of the interest. That gave us an effective rate that was very favorable. Also, there was a program, or there is a program, there was a program, called Qualified School Construction Bonds, and that's a different type of subsidy. Also technically a taxable bond, but a very favorable subsidy is provided. It was a stimulus bond. It was really intended to create stimulus in the economy and get local agencies with shovel-ready projects ready to go for school districts, as the BABs were too. And so I'm sorry. Yeah.
So that's the conceptual problem. I was thinking of the series as being the ultimate unit, but it's not, because
Got to stack them
even
all up.
within the series, so you had 52.8 plus 25, so there were still other types of bonds you issued under Series C.
Oh, yeah, there was, yes, yeah, it wasn't all Build America bonds.